Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald Bay Robinson and friends. Seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. To view, please go to YouTube and in the search field type in capital letters RBRIMO to view our extensive catalog of great shows. Or you can simply go to on your internet and type in to our own channel now, RBRIMO, to view our extensive catalog of shows. First, I want to introduce my capable, talented co-host, Miss Jackie Williams. Welcome,
you.
Jackie.
So kind.
Mr. Henry Hatter.
Hi, Jackie and Ron.
And welcome to our millions of viewers worldwide. Let's talk about racist Mayor Michael Bloomberg, the mayor of New York. The same man that tried to get your containers of pop downsized, the same man that instituted or a part of or carried on from Juliana stop and frisk, where over almost 1 million have been stopped and frisked, mostly minorities. Now this same idiot wants to fingerprint all people in public housing. Okay? Folks, don't let this happen. You should be up in arms against these racist tactics, because that's exactly what it is, all right? Forget about the spill on crime has been reduced, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all right? Maybe it has to a very minimal percentage. But people's rights are being taken away as we speak, as this show is airing right now. All right, you got some police official, got some innocent citizen jacked up in some corner, or in some car, or in some alley, or in some doorwell. All right, violating their human rights. This has got to stop. Also, Flint, Michigan, where we program the show from, are also in conversations with these people behind this stop and frisk shit. All right, we cannot allow that to happen. Yeah, crime is off the charts, but whenever you give police agencies a carte blanche, as they say, to do whatever they choose, there's going to be discrimination, not only from white cops, but also from African American cops, and any other nationality. We cannot allow this to happen. Don't let it happen. Henry, what is your thoughts?
Well, I'm sympathetic with you. And
you are?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
But there are circumstances under which I agree with you. Police should not be able to run wild with corporate authority. But, on the other hand, there's evidence out there that support that they need to have this stop and frisk. Under the circumstances, however, I would agree that it's employed would be when you have reasonable evidence. And that's what the law says. But just to single out people who are walking down the road or street or standing in the alley to stop and frisk them, if you don't have evidence of any wrongdoing, that's a violation of their rights and a violation of constitutional rights for all Americans.
And this is what the American Civil Liberties is preaching, okay?
But the civil liberties are not always use good common sense and good judgment. But I believe that I'm going to look at this from a minority perspective, dealing with blacks. If you have young black men out there on the street, of course this happens to whites and Mexicans or any of those, because they get stopped too. But if you have them acting out of character, and you can generally tell, if they are threatening someone, if they're pulling up in a very suspicious manner, the law has the authority to stop and frisk them. It should have that authority.
What is pulling up in a suspicious manner? What is that?
It means exactly
arbitrary.
It means exactly what it means.
Well, then them cops ought to take their asses out there to them suburbs and them white communities and do the same damn thing. But they don't.
You gotta find, and there are circumstances, and many law enforcement officers and many black people who understand this process will tell you the same thing. That we should not have our individuals out acting in such a manner that they become suspicious.
Well, I disagree.
Well, you can disagree. Hang on
do.
for a minute, and you can do your own diatribe on this. But if our crime rate wasn't so high among us, I would say it's okay. But we kill each other, and even the upcoming week, somebody here will be killed. Statistics bear that out, and to live with that and blame other people for it is ridiculous. We have to get crime under control among us. Damn the rest of the world, but among us. So that our parents and old people and young children can walk down the street without being molested or shot or purses stolen or mistreated.
The biggest reason for crime,
okay, now, stick on the
top. The biggest reason for crime, okay, is unemployment.
No.
Okay, and a lack of education.
No.
Okay,
that's because they want to.
statistics.
They have choices. People like the guy the other day that shot the baby in the face and killed the baby. This would be okay with people who make the kind of argument. I'm not saying that.
No, that's horrendous.
That make the kind of arguments that you do. You just let people do what they want to do.
No, I'm not making that argument. I beg your pardon.
I didn't say you were. But in a society must have control, or none of us are safe. And I would say there are circumstances, and I stand on these, and I will always stand on that, where people need to be stopped and frisked.
Okay.
But not to impinge on our civil rights, though.
We already went over that.
Okay.
I said not that for those reasons.
Now, I know for sure my son was stopped. And he was stopped not because he was speeding. They said he looked suspicious. He was driving in a car. They made him get out the car. They made him stand up, and they couldn't believe that his insurance was correct. They couldn't believe that his registration was correct. Matter of fact, they said it to him, your stuff is legit. It was really legit because my son is a college student. So it's not always fair. But on the flip side, they stopped the boy that killed the 4 people. He was in custody. The 18-year-old that killed the 3 in an apartment complex, and the one on the beer and wine. He was in custody. They lost control of him, and he was out, and he was able to do some more damage. So I think it's not just a frisk. It's going to stop. We need to make sure that we're responsible for when we get them to keep them, because the other one we found in Saginaw that killed the little girl, he gave a wrong name and they let him go. How do you give a wrong name and you're released? So it's more than just stopping them. You have to make sure that you're doing your full job, not just harassing people, but making sure that you're doing all of your part, not just stopping people just to intimidate them.
Yeah, but there's another, and you're right, and I agree with you, 100%. My son was stopped also. It made him really, really mad. And I had to go down and talk to the police chief. So,
was he looking suspicious at a stop sign?
Pardon?
What was that word he used? Looking suspicious when he pulled up?
Yeah, no, it was in the school parking lot. Yeah, they stopped him because he was probably 16, 17.
Because he was black. That's the bottom line.
Maybe.
You know, we cut to the chase because he was black, even in your home, even in your city.
But even white kids could complain about the same thing.
Well, if it's equal. But you can't have a million. You can't have a million people in New York, all right, the vast majority of minorities stopped and frisked for no other reason than they were minorities equal?
Well, I don't know what the incident rate is where they really find something after they stop and frisk.
It's on the internet, folks. Don't take Ronald Barry Robinson into my opinion show for this. Look it up on the internet.
We don't know what the incident rate is. We're just talking. We're talking loosely about something that we have no data to support. Except, in my case, I say that when I find kids, and I see a lot of them, doing those kind of things, I see them at the high schools too. And they are out of control. And they will tell you that they're out of control and don't give up hope for you or anybody else. Now, there's something wrong with that. Now, I said that I preface my remark to look at only internally at our own situation. But I know it goes on everywhere, but you just can't all of a sudden indict everybody else that's white because one cop stops somebody. You can't indict the population. What you do, when you do that, you drive the population that would be sympathetic to your cause against you. And that's we have to make sure that we get our facts right, and never tell the other populations that only blacks have this problem, and they're the only ones stopped.
Well, I actually did do research, and it actually is on the internet. You could check it, and it says that we were stopped at a 60% rate higher than the other race. So we were stopped, minorities.
Right. Okay, why?
For no other reason than this right here.
That's speculation.
The skin color.
That's speculation.
The skin color.
No, I won't buy that. That's speculation. You haven't even done your research to ask.
Sure I have.
And it's true that there are cops that will stop you because you're black.
Right.
But in every circumstance, that's not true. You have not. You're arguing about something you had no data to support.
I mean, but they said that we're stopped at a 60% higher rate. And what they wrote on there was they asked them why did they stop them, and they said they look suspicious. So do I look suspicious because I'm sitting in a car that you don't think I should be in, or am I suspicious because I'm black?
If you have a reasonable suspicion, you can stop them.
Now, I just got stopped the other day.
But he looked at you and he
now. Everything is up to snuff. My license is valid. All right, my insurance is valid. All right, I got stopped for no other reason than I was driving a Jaguar. All right, because when this Pickerwood cop stopped me, all right, I said, "Why are you stopping me?" Oh, that old shit that they give you, license, registration crap. You know what I mean? Okay, here. Now, why did you stop me? Whose car is this? You see, you got my driver's license, you got my registration, all right? What more do you need? Okay, it tells you who owns this car. All right, you're looking at it, you got it right in your hand. Read it. Okay? Read it. All right? So that's a prime example, okay? I was in my car that I bought, paid for. All right? No tickets, no warrants.
Right.
Okay. Racist. So I have the data, Mr. Hatter.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's proof enough for me.
No, that has not been verified, and you haven't compared it with any other statistical data, and so it's likely to be just fluff.
What about your son who was stopped in the parking lot?
Okay,
you got data, right? It's not that much different than my data.
So why did you go down to the police chief and have a talk with him, and that's just what they need to do?
Because he had no reason to stop him.
All right, that's my point.
That's our point.
Well, now, I better take that back. If he thought my son had drugs, he had a reasonable...
You can think all they want to.
Yeah.
They can think all they want to. Who gives a shit what they think about?
But my
you know what I mean?
Doesn't smoke drugs.
And I don't either.
Okay. But see, now you're lighter complexion than I am.
Well, then I shouldn't have been stopped.
No, I should have been stopped before you.
Huh?
You don't fit the profile.
But what is the profile?
Well, a dark man, he said black.
Okay, black comes in all shades.
Yeah, that's right. But isn't there a degree to which people look at people based on their skin color? Or not?
Of course it is. All right, of course it is.
We do that also.
You know, back in slavery days, you had the house and you had the field. All
So
right.
he would be in a house,
Okay.
right? He would be in a house and I'll be in a field.
No, you be in the kitchen.
Yeah, we both be in the
You'd be in the field. You know? No, with your blue eyes, I think
Yeah.
you'd probably be in the house too.
They'll say he was called Irish.
Huh?
Right, you probably could have drove something.
Yeah. You know, a mule or something. But no, Ron, I don't say that you're right. And there are circumstances where we need to create a culture in our own community for our own people how to deal with police. And they've tried this before. And we just don't seem to be getting any better because parents defend the status quo. If a kid goes out and gets himself in trouble with drugs or breaking and entering, we have established no way that kid gets redressed by the community. And that's what we should be doing. And that used to be the case in America. Black people used to take care of their kids. They used to care about them. They used to love them. They used to say, now, I don't want you out doing any silly things. You know how it is here. And we'll find you strung up on a tree if you don't watch what you're doing. But we don't give people in the past enough coverage to show that they had common sense and good judgment to make sure that we had a chance in life and we were born through that whole process of generation after generation where they taught us and trained us and skilled us and so on and so forth to protect ourselves under these circumstances. But the kids today, they just do whatever they want to do.
I think it's because they have less rights, because now you used to, back when I was young, you used to discipline your children whatever way you needed to discipline them. Now the government says you can't do that. So you've lost some ground, but I still think we need to hold our young people accountable. I think they need
We're on the same page.
Yeah, I think they need to be held accountable, and I think we need to hold the parents accountable. I mean, because you go back to things that they do, just like the Beecher High School, they vandalized the whole high school. It was 6 kids in the middle of the night, and they found them to be 10 to 14 years old, vandalized $9,000 in damage. And they're going to pay restitution. I think the parents need to be prosecuted.
Did we converge upon the kids and say that's all right because the rest of the cultures do it, or did they send them to the barnyard?
Well, they're saying they're going to have to pay restitution, so I'm not sure exactly.
That is what should happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We want we want to see a culture emerge
Right.
that identifies us as one, not a whole variety of other folks with no connections between us. That's what we need now as ever, and because our kids don't listen to us because there's no culture.
Well,
that exists.
with that situation that you mentioned, all right. Okay, the students, certainly there's consequences, all right, and also there should be, and the parents, obviously, it hurts them because they probably will come out of their pocket, you know what I mean, to pay these things. But I just want to make that one comment. But this is something I normally don't do. But for those millions of viewers out there that want to know exactly what the do's and don'ts are when you get stopped, our own former police chief in Flint, Michigan, David Dix, has a book. In fact, he has 2 books out. All right, that you can online or your library. Okay, it tells you about what police can do and what they can't do, what you as a citizen can do and not do, and say and not say. It's very informative. All right. Get that book, okay?
Thank you, Ron, because that's a good piece of advice. Mm-hmm. And I stand on that advice both from you and Jackie. What you just said, I'm with you 100%. And I think that all of the people out in the audience are with you.
Or there's other suggestions on the internet. Just go in there, police conduct. I think maybe that might be key words that you can put in there. All right, do's and don'ts. Police conduct, or citizen when stopped by police. Space. What you can do.
Yeah, many policemen are paranoid because everybody has a gun. This is America. Everybody's got a gun.
Right.
And so when they approach you, they have to approach you with caution because you got a gun, or you're perceived to have a gun. And so they are tougher than they were in the old days. They used to walk up leave the gun holstered and strapped. They don't do that anymore. When they stop you and frisk you, you're already a threat to that man or woman.
Or a perceived threat.
You're already
all right,
a perceived
especially
threat.
if you're a minority. So obey what the cops tell you, all right, okay? But the same token, I missed that one.
I didn't get that either.
I didn't get it. But again, if you were, and if you're stopped or if arrested, don't make any admissions to anything. All right? Ask for an attorney. If you have guns, keep them. If you have guns, make sure they're legal. Okay? Keep them. If you can buy more guns, buy them legally. Did I get my message across?
You got your message across.
Any comments? Oh, one other thing about this racist Michael Bloomberg. Now he wants to fingerprint all people in public housing. Okay? Now, isn't that some of the darndest thing that you could ever think of? Okay? He's, in my opinion, he's saying all people in public housing are criminals. What other reason would he want to fingerprint all the people? This includes kids, too. All right? As well as adults. What other reason would this man want to fingerprint all people in public housing? What do you think about that situation, Jackie?
I don't understand. I used to work in public housing, and they already run a background check of everybody that's qualified because you can't live in public housing with a felony. So I don't know why you would need to fingerprint. They already have a process in place. So you can't live in public housing with a felony or any type of record.
Well, maybe that's so that the little kids that are growing up that aren't on the, that haven't had a credit check or something like this here, when they grow up, then, if Lord forbid that they don't create a crime, they already got them in the system.
But
okay,
there are other circumstances why he would do that. He would want people fingerprinted. There's a lot of fraud, a lot of it, and just because you wear a suit and tie, or because you're white, or because you're black or brown or green, doesn't mean that you're not a criminal, that you won't create any criminal activity. And we don't have the money to provide for the masses of the people if a few of those are going to siphon off the gravy. People need to take their turns, and they need to proportionalize what do they do with the housing. Give you the same unit that they give somebody else under the same circumstances. But they have to reduce fraud. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot of fraud in government. People are stealing right now, as Ron has said, as we speak. And you can't seem to stop it. But once, I think you need to have a strong law that deters fraud.
So you think fingerprinting will do that? Fingerprinting will do, how would that stop fraud? Because the fraud in public housing is not because of fingerprints. It's because people are living places and they're making income. And then you have the people who own businesses that are paying them under the table. That has nothing to do with the one that's living in the project.
Well, it does. Because there are people who may not have, they have to have a bona fide address where they live. Okay? You must have a bona fide address where you live to receive supplements from the government.
Right.
Okay? There's nothing wrong with, what's wrong with being honest with your dealing with the government. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being honest when you go in and throw your license on the table to vote? What's wrong with that? Why do you want people to do the very things that you hate? That's to cheat.
Yeah, that's speculation, Henry.
No, that isn't
That's
speculation.
all speculation, all right?
I've been-
I'll ask you the same question you asked me. Where's the data on that?
Oh, there's a lot of data on it. There's a lot of data on it. Yeah.
Huh?
There's a lot of data on it.
Okay.
But then there's some bad data too. But there's,
Okay.
And people who go through these investigations of fraud here, you can find it. I just don't have the data at my hand.
Well, you know, we just have to be, as a society, we have to learn to be honest and straightforward, not only within ourselves, but with other people, too. If you're going to tell a lie, just don't say nothing, all right? But be honest with yourself, your neighbors, anybody that you come in contact with.
I don't believe this, Ron. You're giving people a good lesson. All three shows that we've had. You're leaving them with something to live by.
Well, I hope so. I mean,
And
hope
it's
I'm an
not the
inspiration for some
It's
folk.
not the typical voice that people hear every day. It's all right to do that.
Well, I know
You're
that,
okay.
and I
do whatever you can or whatever you must.
and I intend to to keep up that goodwill, if you will. But I'm the type of individual. I'm a pragmatist. I say what's on my mind. I don't believe most of the bullshit that I see or hear. All right, if I don't see it right in front of me. Okay, but at this time, it's been a great conversation. I want to thank our wonderful technical staff, Ms. Jackie Williams, Mr. Henry Hatter,
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie.
and thank our millions of viewers for tuning in. This is Ronald Berry Robinson and the In My Opinion Show with friends. Until next time, stay focused.